homeless. Let me say that again. It only takes you 2 paychecks to miss 2 paychecks, and you're gonna find yourself without a place to live. Because we live from payday to payday. This pay period, I'm paying all my utilities. Next pay period, I'm paying my place I live in. And then they're going to take away 2 pay periods. And then they're going to tell you, oh, it's got to wait another 2 periods before I give it to you. So if they fire you today, they're not going to pay you today for everything they owe you. If they let you go today, you're going to be out of a job, and it's going to take at least 2 weeks before you get that check that they owe you. Yeah. And then when those 2 weeks come, you're in a hole 2 weeks already. So when that 2 weeks come up, you're in a bigger hole because now you're in a 4 weeks hole. You don't believe it? Take 2 weeks and miss out and see once you be homeless. You be like, you got a room at your house? I ain't gonna talk y'all quiet in here, boy. But he shall supply all of my needs, right? So why am I homeless? So if he supply all my needs, why they just repossess my car? If they supply all my needs, why my house got foreclosed on? If he's giving me everything, why I'm having such a hard time? Well, guess what? The fault don't lie within him, it lies within us. Maybe what he has given you, you have not been a wise steward over what he's put in your hand. Come on here. If you are that person that want to make an income and want to party every weekend, you're going to be broke soon. I haven't been in the club in years, but I don't think you can get in for a cover charge like $2 no more. Y'all quiet in here again. All right, so I don't, we used to say, give me a drink and you're going to get a drink, and now you're going to pay what? Well, I don't know, $10, $20 for just a little shot of water and some alcohol in there? Y'all ain't going to talk back to me. And you ain't going to have just one, because it ain't kosher to sit there and have just one, because all your friends going to be chunking them down, and you got to at least get 2, if not 3. Drink one and to really enjoy it, then the next one ship on it. And before it's over with, it's going to water down some more because they put ice in it. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me while you sipping on that water. And at least you won't go home drunk. You won't drive home intoxicated. I think I'm messing up in here. So here we go. So if you always spending every dime you have, then whose fault is it when you retire and you're old and don't have no money? Whose fault is it? Who can you blame? Is it Uncle Sam's fault because Social Security gone? Y'all in here? Is your employer's fault because they took away your pension? Guess what? Time and chance happens to us all. You can't blame nobody else for the dilemma you find yourself in if you didn't prepare for your future. Am I doing all right? I don't want to seem like I'm fussing, but I want to drop something on you because I don't know. I told a young lady this morning, when I was walking this morning, I did my little 2 miles. I can't do 4 yet. I'm working my way back up. Okay, I did my little 2 miles this morning around 6 o'clock this morning, a little bit before 6 or something. And when I passed by the security guard, she said, "Oh, you walking again?" She saw me yesterday. I said, "Yeah, girl, with the doctor." Then I came back and said, "I'm sorry, no disrespect. I didn't mean to call you girl. That was just something came up. Hello, somebody." And she said, "Oh, no problem, no problem." I said, we live in a time when people don't care if they hurt your feelings or not. They don't care if they offend you or not. And so I said, "I want to come back. I didn't want to be offensive to you." She said, "No, you good." She said, "But thank you so much. It's so kind of you." But what I'm saying, so I said to her that my wife always said, "You stop telling folk how old you are." So I ain't gonna say it. But I shared with her that at this age that I am, I could be out here any day now. Hello, somebody. And she said, "You crazy." So what I'm saying to y'all, that you take it for granted that tomorrow is promised to you, and tomorrow might not be promised to you. But if it is, how you going to live? If it is promised to you, if you do have a tomorrow, if you do have another 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, how are you going to live? I saw one of the young ladies on Facebook say, "I finally retired and worked at the county for 28 years, and she retired." I'm like, Lord have mercy. But my next thought was, well, see, she probably got a pension. But the rest of us, if we don't save no money, we're going to be broke. and hoping somebody else come to our rescue. Okay, so I think I've said that enough time. I always say men are pretty good about saving the money to spend on practical things. Most times. I say most times. Did he what say, baby? Most times. I don't mind you help me preach. Come on. Most times they are. Most times it's him that's saying, we don't have no money. They say, oh, I just got paid. I got money. No, you don't have no money. Even though you just got paid, you don't have no money. You know why? Because your money right here and our debt right here. Let me say that again. You don't spend till now your debt is up here. The ratio of your paycheck between here and here it's kind of hard to recuperate from. It's kind of hard to get out of it. So you got to start working towards it. Bring it into balance. Somebody shout balance. I'm almost out of here. It's got to be balanced thing. You got to stop spending. Plug the hole. This is what I told y'all not too long ago, right? So you got to plug the hole and create a situation where your debt is here. Your debt is here. Your money is here, but your debt is here. And so now you begin to fix it where now everything started leveling itself out. Where you find yourself doing this. Are y'all in here? Tell your neighbor it's possible. Because look here. So if it's on your mindset that I'm working to fix my balance while I'm doing this, instead of doing this, I've got to do this. And it's not by accident that you get here. Am I still doing all right? It's not by accident that you become a balance. You have your spreadsheet or whatever you want to call it. It's in a balanced budget. You haven't gotten there. It's not by accident. You got to literally work on it. So if He's give you, or He supplied all your needs according to His riches in glory. I got another scripture here in Proverbs, the 21st chapter and the 25th verse. Boy, I feel like talking this morning. Can I talk in here? I seen somewhere that you don't spend your money on things that depreciate. Don't buy it on credit. If it depreciate, don't buy it on credit. I posted that on my Facebook page too, by the way. It's the millionaire that's sitting next to you or in the pew next to you or something. The millionaire that sits in the pew next to you. And so he said, don't, if it depreciate, don't buy it on credit. I'm like, that's a whole lot of things. Those Jordans. Did I say those Jordans? I mean, a whole lot of things depreciate. You know, it shocked me the other day. I thought, you know, I had this watch with all these diamonds around it. I purchased it, and I got it at a pretty decent rate. And I needed some money one day, so I went to say how much you give me for it. They said it ain't worth it. I'm like, well, all them diamonds in it ain't worth it. And they say back in the day that watch probably worth about $2,500. Today it's only worth about $200 because of the name on the watch. If it had a different name, it would be more money. Guess what I thought? Now I'll keep it and I'll wear it and flash it. And y'all don't know it's a $200 watch. Oh, y'all got quiet on me again. Yeah, see, only way you know it's a $2 if it's a $2 watch, a $200 watch is that I tell you. Other than that, you're going to look and say, whoa, that sure is a bad watch. Man, I like that watch. Hello, somebody. I'm like, thank you. This little thing here ain't nothing. Yeah, but we're so busy trying to impress other people, and I want to tell you, stop trying to impress folks. Folks ain't really worth all of that. Yeah, folks not really worth all of that. You trying to impress them, they not worth all of that. They ain't worth you eating catfish from them, cat food when you're old. Yeah. The next time you want to buy something to impress somebody, do this. The next time somebody say, you going to this, that, and the other, say, if it's something I've saved for and I can afford to do it, that's one thing. But if I got to put myself in debt to go, then guess what? I don't need to. Well, Pastor, you take away all the fun out of life. Well, you keep on living and get old. I'm going to see how much fun you're going to have then. I'm going to ask you, do you want frisky or meow? You don't want to make the sacrifice now. So if you don't make the sacrifice now, you're gonna have a hardship later on. So you need to learn that some sacrifices are necessary. Am I still doing all right? yeah. Some sacrifices are necessary. I'm trying to find, and I got my little money up here so I get my offering and stuff, and it's in my way. So I almost said, you know, I said Proverbs, the 21st chapter, and the 25th verse. I know, uh, you know, I told y'all before. I was telling another friend of mine. I said, man, I told him, boy, when you get to talk about money, people freezes up because all the, you know, the church, all that church wants is your money. But the truth of the matter is, if we don't talk about it, you'll never have it. And if I don't teach you what to do with it when you get it, listen to me again. Listen to me again. If I don't teach, if we don't talk about it, money, you'll never have it. And if I don't tell you what to do when you get it, you never keep it. Let me say that again. If we don't have this conversation, you will never have it, and you'll never keep it. If it ever passed by you, and you don't know what to do with it, you'll waste it. And when you waste it, it's like water. You can't go get it up. I mean, unless you got some good equipment. Anyway, Richard, yeah. All right. Proverbs, the 21st chapter, verse 20. It says, there is treasures to be desired, and all in the dwelling of the wise. But a foolish man will do what? So he says, in a wise man's house, you find necessities to maintain his lifestyle. You, in a person who understands that tomorrow is coming, don't spend everything. He got all is speaking to wealth and the blessings of God being fluent in your house. He said, a person who is wise, they have things at home. They have things to sustain their life. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being in your 20s and you've got a bank account that says, well, how much you got in your bank account? Oh, I got about 500,000. Somebody just went, no, they ain't gonna do that in 20. I said, guess what? Anything's possible. Y'all around here with y'all that small mindset, man. You know how long I've been saving? I ain't got but 20,000 in my account. Well, somebody don't have that. Somebody said, well, I got $5,000 that I don't have to spend in my account. Well, that's good. But guess what? You can have a whole lot more if you learn how to balance off your lifestyle. Am I still making sense in here? And so he said that a wise person have what they need in their house. He said, but a foolish person, when the things come, you don't know what to do with it, and you don't know how to keep it, so you spend it. He called it foolish. Now, I didn't call you foolish. He said a foolish person spends it. A foolish person wastes it. A foolish person will, you know, the Bible talks about this young kid that was in, I think it was the Luke gospel, talk about this kid who got his finances out. If I took this financial stability on a little further, I would talk to, I'd do this next week, but I'm going to get off this page and maybe talk about is sex, what was my thought? Was sex being holy, or if it's sex spiritual and holy, or can sex be spiritual and holy? Can sex be spiritual and holy? That's what I want to talk about next week. Can sex be spiritual and holy? Anyway, that's next week. Same bad channel, same bad time. Okay, got me? Huh? Oh, do we need this one more? How many want me to do this one more Sunday? All right, I'll see y'all next Sunday. I'll do the same thing next Sunday. See, you know. But anyway, here we go. See, I was going to talk about this young preacher, this young man now, so I guess I'm going to have to wait till next Sunday to talk about him. Because if I talk about him now, what I'm going to talk about next Sunday? Find something else. Okay, the Bible says he's called the prodigal son. Y'all know the story of the prodigal son. The Bible says that this man has two sons, and the youngest of the two came to his dad and said, Dad, I want to get my inheritance now. I want all the money you saved up for me, my college funds and everything else. I want all of my money right now. And so the daddy gave it to him. It didn't say the daddy fought against giving it to him. He just gave it to him. And the Bible says, and the boy moved out of the house. He left home. He left home and then went to a far country and started hanging out with other folks that he didn't even know. And he started spending his money, without any regards. He was good time Charlie. Everybody came up, shut him up, bartender. Give them what they want. Oh man, that's a nice lady. Girl, what you want? Give that girl whatever she want. Hello, somebody. Yeah, she with you too. Give her what she want too. And he was big timing. Hello, somebody. He was bowed and major. I ain't gonna get no help in here. And the Bible said, and when all his resources ran out, so his friends ran out too. He didn't have nobody hanging out with you. That was a song back in the day. Say, good time Charlie, nobody wants you when you're down and out. That's an old song. My dad in them song. But I remember it. Yeah. So here we go. So if you don't save nothing, someday you're gonna find yourself in a predicament. This man had a lot of money, but the Bible said he ended up going to attach himself to a citizen of that country, and he found himself in a pig pen, feeding pigs, and having the desire to eat what the pigs were eating because he was hungry. Now, how you go from royalty to a pig pen? How you go from the castle to the pig pen? How do you go to a place of influence to a place of, man, who? How do you do that? And so that was the situation there at hand. But why? Because he had it, but he didn't know what to do with it. I mean, if you're going to ask your daddy for all your inheritance, you at least ought to know what you're going to do with it. Let me ask you a question. Say, some of y'all play the lottery. If you get the $1 million tomorrow today, what you going to do with it? Pastor, I ain't going to get no $1 million lottery. I'm going to get the big one. I want that 50 to 100 million, 2 million, 3 million. I want the $50 million. I only play, Pastor, when it's like 50 million. I don't touch it under that. If it say 50 million, I put my money in the hat, Pastor. Let me ask you a question. If you get the 50 million, what you going to do with it? I'm going to buy my mama a house. I might buy my brother or sister a house. I might give them something on it. I'm going to buy me a car. If my mama needs a car, I'm going to buy my mama a car. I'll let somebody else borrow some money so they get them a car. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. I'm going to travel. I'm going to buy some new clothes. Oh, I got to get me a new house for real. I don't want a big house. I don't want no little bitty house. I want a major house. I want to live where I couldn't live before. You couldn't live in River Oaks now, you going to River Oaks. I want the biggest house they got in River Oaks. And then you don't realize you paid all that money for that house. And then when maintenance hit and the taxes hit and all that, you're like, where my money go? The next time you see a sign on that front door saying foreclosed. Because you got it, but you didn't know what to do with it. You know why? Because you hadn't planned for it. If God bless you today, your name came up somewhere and down through history, your family have had money. Somebody had money, you didn't even know about it, but you was an inheritance of some funds that end up in the States. And the States come looking you up, you found it that you are a millionaire now. You're going to wake up in the morning, you're a brand new person, but how you going to act going to determine if you'll be a millionaire next year. So if you don't start developing the right kind of mindset now, whenever you get money, it's just going to be like a hole in your pocket. You had it, and you lost it. Am I making sense yet? Somebody shout balance. You got the balance between your debt and your income. That ratio got to fix that. Am I making sense here? And guess what? Some of the greatest arguments we have in marriage is finances and sex. Did I say that? That's three things for y'all too while you're sitting here. Three things that grown people fuss about. Three things. They fuss about don't talk to me, no communication, the money and the sex. And most time money at the top, and then it depends on who you talk to, daddy or mama, or brother or sister, whoever it is, the next thing gonna be sex. And then either money. Am I telling the truth yet? You're gonna have a problem with either money and or sex and not having no conversation. We don't communicate. Those three things. If y'all master those three things now, y'all going to be good. So that means that when you get paid, you don't just get paid and say, I'm going to spend up my money, not even consider what we got to pay at home. No, not consider what our bills look like. Not considering where we are and our work on it. If we all work together, man, we can make this thing balanced. Problem is, you get your money. Maybe we should look this way. Yeah, you get your money, and you in your mind, it's your money. It's not our money. When you got married, it became our money. It's not your money, husband and wife. It's not your money. It's the family's money. I don't care if you make $100,000, I only make 50. It's still our money. This is some hard teaching here. Y'all don't believe it, do you? This is hard. But it's the truth. And the problem with us is that we have these issues because we don't want to deal. We don't want to be real. I wish I wasn't in debt. I wish I can get out of debt. I so wish we could be debt free. You ain't getting debt free if y'all working against each other. You with here? You'll never become debt free. Wait a minute. I gave y'all a principle about 2 weeks ago that when this woman had this financial debt that she came to the prophet. The prophet said, go back and put everybody in your house on the same task. We all going to work towards fixing the problem. Y'all remember that? So if you in the house and you're not contributing to getting rid of the debt, then you're part of the problem and not part of the solution. I'm going to get some new medication. Boy, I'm sweating up here. 21 and 20 said, there is treasure to be desired and all in the dwelling of the wise. Why is this treasure and all in his house for us to desire? We wish we had it. You know, when you see these folks that's banking, you're like, they banking. Can I get some of that? I wish I was riding like that. I wish I lived there. I wish I had that kind of income. You desire their all and their finances, whatever they have. What? They got it because they knew what to do with it when they got it. Problem with us that when we get it, we don't know what to do with it. I hope after the day we start considering what I need to do with it when I get it. And you need to start with a small amount. This thing that I read, I was looking at, it said the millionaire next door. One of the things they said too, not next door, I've seen that book too, but the millionaire in the pew. The millionaire in the pew. He said, one of the things he said, and now he said, you got to at least start saving 10% of your income. He said, save 10% of your income, and then you start working toward it. I said, save 10% of your income, give 15% to the church, and I mean that you put in 10% your tithes and 5% of your offering. You give 15%, and then you say, well, why am I saving 10? Well, you're gonna live off the rest of it anyway. You're gonna pay your bills and got the rest of it, and then you got to put aside 10% for long-term use. Now, let me ask you, don't raise your hand. How many of y'all saving at least 10%? Don't raise your hand. Just think about it. How many of you at least saving 10% of your income for future use? And if you're not, then the day is a good day to start. All right? When this week comes, when you start working, if you don't have 10%, if you can't save 10%, at least start with 1%. Start with something. Starting somewhere is better than staying where you are nowhere. Am I still making sense here? All right. All right, let me get my other little scripture and let y'all go home, because, you know, I want to go to, I'm staying Proverbs, and look at the 6th chapter and the 6th verse. I was thinking about the scripture over in 1 Timothy, where they say the love of money is the roots of. See, we know that one. And so it didn't say money was evil. It's what happens when you get it. If you're a horrible person now, you get money, you're going to be magnified a horrible person. If you're a good person with money, without money, when you get money, you still be a good person. Amen. Although, you know, it can corrupt you, though, if you don't be careful with it. But look at, I got some amens in here, y'all. I know. All right. Proverbs, the 6th chapter, and in the 6th verse. 6 through 8. Proverbs Proverbs, the 6th chapter, and 6 through 8. And again, this is Solomon talking to his son, and he's giving him principles for life. And the principles that he gives his son, we can glean from them. We can learn something from it. We can get something from it. We can gain something from what he says to his son. 6th chapter, 6th verse, go to the ant, thou sluggard. He said, consider her ways and do what? And be wise. Which having no guide, she have no one to guide her, no principal over her, no overseer, no ruler. She don't have nobody to tell her what to do. It's just programmed in her brain. He say, provided her meat in the summer and gather her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? I guess I'm going to stop right there. He say the ant, say, consider the ant. During the summer and during harvest, she's gathering her food. What does that say to us? Have you noticed that in the wintertime, you don't really see the ant running around? Unless you kick the mound. If you kick the mound, it'll take a little while for them to come up, but they're coming up. Because they got to repair what you done damaged. But they're not in a hurry to come up out of that ground because they know that being beneath the earth, they can stay warm. Come up a little closer to the surface and that freeze could kill them. So the deeper down they go in the ground, you don't know. They down in there. They ain't just at where you see the little hill there. No, that what you see on top is what they done pushed up out of the earth to build their cabins down beneath the ground. And in those cabins, they got their food they done gathered. You know, your picnic you had, they came and raided your table while you were eating. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You mind your own business and you in the house and you walk to the house and there's a whole trail of ants going up in your kitchen, up on your, anybody know what I'm talking about? And you're like, man, where are the ants coming from? Man, they done came up the driveway, down the side of the house, up into the air-breathing sections of the brick, come around the side of the wall, come into the light fixtures, down into the kitchen. I ain't gonna talk nothing. And they eating cookies you done fell on, you dropped on the floor. I mean, you don't believe it, but they be all upstairs if you don't know it. Potato chip you dropped, and you were too lazy. I didn't mean lazy. It was just didn't feel like picking it up right then. And that ant will find it, and they will nibble on it and take a little piece back to the ant bed. And then they have a trail of ant. We found some food. They make their way back, and then they have another line. They got a what they call a conveyor line or whatever it's called. What they call them line? Conveyor belts. They got a whole conveyor system working, man. Well, there's some coming, there's some going, and they coming to get the food. They split and they go back and get some more, and they do that until they've got enough. And then when the winter comes, you don't see them working. You know why? Because they was wise with what they got, and when they got it, they knew what to do with it. I hope I've made sense to some of y'all. Oh, I wrote two little points here that the millionaire said. He said, most of us have brought too much house for our income. Then the next thing he said, where I paraphrased it, avoid allowing your credit card balance to roll over, paying this interest. In other words, your credit card, you say, well, it's a balance, but I'm managing it. They love you. They love those interests. You like, well, I got a little balance, and so I ain't trying to pay it off, because I need to have some money. I need to keep some money in my bank account, in my pocket, so I can showboat, but that interest instead of getting your money. It's a greater hold than what you like to consider. The old folks used to get their stuff on credit, but they would pay it off at the end of the week. And because debt wasn't something they wanted to be in. And so what I'm going to tell y'all is that you ought to get the same kind of mindset. Debt is not something I want to be in. Right? If you young, save your money. You don't owe nobody nothing. My friend Bishop Randolph Nichols in Milwaukee, he called me pretty much every Sunday, and if he don't call me, I'll call him. We normally talk about 8 o'clock on Sunday mornings. I said, man, I'm talking about financial stability. He told me what he was talking about. He said, you know that topic you said to me a couple of weeks ago? He said, man, I'm still working on that. I'm like, okay, that's good. I should tell him send the notes. It's my message anyway. Send me the notes. But I did. Now that I thought about it, I probably will. Yeah, it was my thought, so he just built it up. Hello, somebody. You won't know it's not my notes. But I was telling him, I say, man, like I told the people, and this is something you can share. I said, the guy on the corner who's asking for food, the clothes he have on is not as important as the sign he's holding in his hand. I'm going to say that again, because if y'all missed that point, the person on the corner who's begging for food, the sign in his hand is more important than the clothes he's wearing. If when you are more impressed about what somebody's wearing, you're missing the whole mark. If you walk over to the corner, he's all decked to nine, and he got a sign saying, I work for food, you won't even let your window down. He's too clean. He's too sharp. To you, he looks like I need to help him, if you can. To him, he ain't thought about what he had on. He slept in it last night, yesterday, the night before that, a couple of weeks before that. And it looks like he's been living in his clothes because he has. But guess what? The most important thing to this man is not the clothes he's wearing, but the sign he's carrying. If you learn anything from a homeless person, learn that the clothes you're wearing is not as important as what's in your hand. What has God entrusted you with? For he shall supply all of my needs according to his riches in Christ Jesus. Stand on your feet, let's pray. I know I didn't take y'all to the cross, but he did die. He didn't stay dead. He got up. And I'm glad about it. Hello, somebody. Amen. Tell your neighbors, say no cat food and no gravy train. Tell them balance it out. Shout it out, balance it out. Father God, we thank you for giving us this opportunity to come in the house of prayer. God, thank you for giving us a word and giving us what we need, that we should balance out our lifestyle. God, you've given us things to enjoy life. But God, how can we enjoy life when we're in such debt? The creditors have come to collect it. We don't have money to pay it. So we are agonizing over our dilemmas, over our situation, Father. So, Father, I'm asking you to help us today. If there's somebody on the sound of my voice, God, who's struggling majorly, God, fix it for them, God. Bring them through this. Give them the deliverance that they stand in need of. Make all things well, God. Lord, we give you permission to. We thank you in advance, God. Thank you for our student loans being paid off. I believe some debts will be canceled, Father. I believe, God, right now that you cause a miracle to take place, because now that we know what to do, you can trust us with what you want us to have.